Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. It's your girl Valerie, your empowerment igniter, back again this afternoon with some words of empowerment. I hope you all enjoyed breakfast this morning with me and Pastor Linda. It was good. It was good. But I'm back this afternoon to talk to you about limitations. Limitations. Yesterday, we talked briefly about the baggage that we may have brought into this new year from 2020. We talked about relationships and different things that have hindered us. We talked about the fact that sometimes we even brought other people's things. We picked up somebody else's bag at baggage claim and it got in the way. And so today I want to dig a little deeper into that conversation because I believe that if you made it through 2020, that in 2021, you want to do everything possible to get what God has for you. You want to do everything possible to pursue purpose and to see it manifest in your life. And for many of us, one of those things is being able to identify those things which limit us from moving forward. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you all a few minutes if you would. Invite somebody, share with somebody, get some more people in the room so they can be a part of this experience. I'll be back with you in just a second. I'm back. Hello, hello, hello. And thank you so much for coming into the room for this conversation. What's limiting you? What's keeping you from moving forward in your purpose? What is it? First and foremost, we have to understand what a limitation is, right? What is a limitation? If we look at the definition of a limitation, it's basically a restriction, a boundary, something that's keeping you from moving. It could be weights, like a ball and chain. It could be a barrier, like a brick wall. Most of the time, it's a situation of the mind, it's a mindset. And you might say, no, my mind is right. I got my mind together. I know what I'm thinking. I know what I'm doing. It's not my mind. Okay. Okay. Guess what? I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to say, okay. But I'm going to want you to sit still for just a little bit to hear what I have to share, to just see if maybe there are some things that are limiting you that you not considered, that you not, yes, it is a hindrance. Maybe you just did not want to receive that this is my issue. Because the error of our way, it begins with our mindset. And it's often regarding our value and our worth. Somebody, it was an anonymous writer, wrote, I understood myself only after I destroyed myself, and only in the process of fixing myself did I know who I really was. Now that statement charged a lot of conversation because if you think about it, I understood myself only after I destroyed myself. Now you can take that and to a positive, right? I understood myself after I destroyed myself, and only in the process of fixing myself did I know who I really was. Some of you have been in the process of trying to fix yourself without having the knowledge of who you are. You've been trying to fix yourself based on someone else's opinion. You've been trying to fix yourself based on someone else's expectation. You've been trying to fix yourself because you've been comparing yourself to someone that you see and you like the way it looks on them. So you're going to try to make it work on you. All those things are limitations. All of those are barriers that are keeping you from moving ahead in purpose. And please know that I'm not saying this to you as an expert and as one that's just throwing words out to you. I am an expert. Let me just say that. I've done some study, I've lived some life, I've gotten some tools that I can aid people in the discovery, the defining and developing of their purpose. I can help you in identifying some things that limit you in your life, but I can also confess that I also limited myself. I did. For many years, I limited myself because I didn't think I didn't have what it took to be anything other than what I was. So we listened that quote that I said, I didn't know myself until I destroyed myself. And in an effort to fix myself, I discovered the truth. Well, emotionally, I was a wreck. Spiritually, I was an imposter. I was just living my life on autopilot, doing the same thing every day, in and out, not lending way to the Spirit of God, not allowing myself to be led by His word and His truth. I was just doing what I knew to do every day. And then when detours would show up in my life, it would throw me for a spin because I didn't know what to do. I wasn't living my authentic life. I wasn't living my life according to God's plan or His purpose for my life. I was just being and not even being successfully. So, we're talking about limitations. Let me share with you what I learned about myself when it comes to limitations in life. I had limitations. I had erected stone walls in front of me that were limiting me from moving forward in my purpose. One of those things was I suffered from an identity crisis. I did. hmm I was constantly comparing myself to what others were doing, how others were showing up. I was like, how is it that they can do that? And I can say the same thing and I can do the same thing. I was comparing myself and then allowing the fear of failure and even the fear of succeeding keep me in bondage from moving forward. I wasn't supposed to do things like everybody else. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made in His image. I am an authentic vessel that's been placed here to do it only like Valerie can. I wasn't supposed to be anybody's copycat, but yet I allowed comparison to limit me from being my authentic self. My self worth was only seen in the eyes of those that endorsed me. You're always waiting for somebody to give you a pat on the back, somebody to say, oh, you did a great job. And when they didn't say it, I felt like nothing. Y'all, this is who I used to be. I felt like nothing. If I wasn't making everybody happy, if I wasn't people pleasing, if I wasn't saying the right things and being with the right people, and they not appreciating me and recognizing me, I felt worthless. It limited me from walking in purpose. I even self sabotaged myself, y'all. When opportunities presented, I talked myself out of it saying, oh, you can't do that. You're not knowledgeable enough. You're not skillful enough. You're not. I sabotaged myself. That even when doors of opportunity were presented to me, I turned them away. I wouldn't go through the door. I wouldn't go to the next level because of my own ideas about myself. I self sabotaged. And then I was judgmental. I was judgmental about my own behavior. I was unforgiving. How many of you have done things in your life and you forgive everybody else, but you don't forgive yourself? That was my plight. I was constantly judging myself because of choices and then having to deal with the consequences of my choices. I couldn't forgive myself. And it was a barrier from keeping me from moving forward in purpose. I was afraid. I was afraid. Fear. That false evidence appearing real. I was afraid. And we know that the Word of God tells us that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. But I was afraid. I was fearful. I didn't want to be rejected. How many of you have ever been in a situation where people were constantly rejecting you? And because of that spirit, you didn't move. You didn't want to be without the clique. You didn't want to be without the attaboys. And so you just succumbed to whatever they desired. I limited myself. Y'all, I did. And then what was crazy is that when I began to stop and really take a look at my life, those things that I believed about myself, I had some core beliefs that were outdated. I had some core beliefs that were actually lies that I had held on to forever and a day. And those core beliefs were limiting me. I had to take authority. I had to take authority over those things. I had to get off of autopilot. I had to start moving according to what the Spirit of God was saying and not what Valerie was saying and not those who were around Valerie, not what they were saying. But I had to incline my ear to hear what the Spirit of God was saying to me. Because if we stop and look at what the world says, because the world, this place where we live, we're in the world, but we're not of this world. We're kingdom citizens, y'all. We're supposed to be doing kingdom business, kingdom minded things. But I was allowing the world to dictate to me what I was going to do. The world says grab as much power possible by any means necessary. When the Spirit of God tells us that we're to be servants, that the greatest among you is a servant. So we're supposed to be serving in our purpose and making an impact. Because if you serve according to your purpose, then you're going to get the power. The power was given to you. We were given power and authority and dominion with our relationship with Christ. So if you're walking in purpose, if you're doing it the way God would have you do it, then you're going to have the power to prevail in any situation. The world tells us that in order to be successful and to be happy, we start chasing money. Money answers all things, but the love of money is the root of all evil. And so if your mind is always on the money and the money is always on your mind, then that's going to sometimes be a barrier to keep you from moving forward in purpose. Because often, until you get indoctrinated and the understanding of what you've been purposed to do, because I can tell you, when you operate in purpose, provision comes. But if you're just worried about the money, you may miss the opportunity. You may miss the opportunity of purpose. There are a lot of people. I know people. I know people. I know people. I'm one of them. I was working. I was doing work. I was working. And I haven't worked now in, I don't know how long it's been. How long has it been? A year and a half? Maybe it'll be 2 years this year that I've been doing full-time ministry. Who would have thought? I mean, I like money. I like money, right? I like being able to go and do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do. And so when I made the decision that it was going to be me and God in ministry, and my husband was fine with me doing what I was purposed to do, y'all, you think I worry about money? No. You think I worry when it's time to take a trip? No. You think I worry about when Lottie Wallace come on with Blessed for Less, and my grandson call me a Blessed for Less again because she be having good vibes? Yeah, Lottie, I'm gonna throw you a plug in, real quick because you're my girl. When Lottie has her show and she's got that stuff out there, do I worry? I had some people that say, "Girl, you don't need that," but come on, I'll worry about it because I don't have to worry about the money, because God supplies all my needs. He supplies all my needs. I don't have to worry about that. Why? Because I'm operating in purpose. I'm doing what I've been called to do. I've been called, I've been anointed by God to empower others. Why? Because He's empowered me. He's given me tools and insight and strategies to help me. And now that I've been delivered, my God, I take those same tools and strategies, that same knowledge, that same power to aid those who are ready to move forward according to God's plan. I help you to identify your barriers. I help you to identify your baggage. I help you to identify your limitations so that they can be destroyed and you can move forward in purpose. How many of you know what it feels like to be in a relationship that feels good? When you're in that relationship and everything is click, 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 and there's no struggle, that's what it feels like to walk in purpose. It just clicks. It's effortless. And it's, oh my God, it's so, ugh, I don't even know the word I want to use because I feel so invigorated when I'm walking in purpose. Somebody said to me today, "Valerie, how many times are you going to be on today?" And I was like, "Well, I've got a 9 o'clock, I got a 1 o'clock, I got a 3 o'clock, and I got a 4 o'clock." And they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's so much." It's not for me. This is what I've been empowered to do. I've been empowered, and there's been a mandate placed on me in the beginning of this year to get the word out to people, to let them know that help is available. Help is available. There are people who have been anointed and appointed to aid you in getting to your next place in God, for you to operate in purpose. But you got to be willing to do some work. For those who have been taking the dip experience with me, for those who've been identifying their baggage and looking at their limitations and knocking down those walls, I can tell you that their lives have been forever changed. And so is mine. Because as I pour into them, the Spirit of God is pouring into me to continue to be able to empower. As we are also looking at our limitations, you have to understand that we've got to walk by faith. We know that now faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. We have got to walk by faith and trust that whatever it is that God has spoken to us, that He's surely going to do just what He said. Somebody had posted earlier today, God can do it just like this. Oh yeah, God can. God can do it just like this. Yes, He can. But are you in position? Are you in position for it to happen just like this? Because in order to be in position for that kind of activity from God, you've got to have your mind right. Your priorities, you must have a clear vision in order to move forward in the things of God. God is not going to just snap His fingers and make something happen for you when you've not even been accountable to the things that He's already done. As much is given, much is required. You've not done anything with what He's already given you, but you're asking Him to snap, snap, snap it up for you. Come on, my brothers and sisters, you've got to get your mind right. You've got to get in alignment according to God's plan for your life. And you've got to let go of those things that are limiting you so that you can move forward successfully. See, in the book, Let's Dip, I wrote this. I said, I would make strides in the right direction, but I would be pulled back by my old habits. Anybody ever been there? You going along good. You're making good strides. You're taking 2 steps forward. and then something snatch you right on back. Have you been there? Have you asked yourself, why is it that every time I make headway, every time I make strides towards what God wants me to do, I still get snatched back? You know why? Because your mind won't right. You weren't being regenerated. You weren't being transformed by the renewing of your mind. You were still operating in the flesh, still trying to do things your own way instead of being led and guided by the Spirit of God in all things. If this is blessing you, please like and share. If it's blessing you, somebody else might need to hear this. Somebody else might be feeling on this second day of January 2021, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I made it through. I got to this place. But now what do I do? I'm here to encourage you today, my brothers and sisters. It's time to identify those things that have been limiting you. And it's time for you to get clarity about your vision. Write the vision. Habakkuk lets us know where to write the vision and make it plain upon the tablets that men may see it and run with it. We've got to make our vision so clear that when we begin to articulate it to others, they'll get excited about it and want to move forward in it the same way that you are. There's somebody that's been assigned to helping you birth your purpose. But how are you going to get there? How are you going to know it if you don't even know what your vision is? If you don't have the clarity that you need to move forward, and if you're still being limited by mindset, if you're still being limited by opinions, if you're still being limited by fear, if you're still being limited by outdated core beliefs, my sisters and brothers, it's time for change. It's time for change. And you have to know that we can't do things the way the world does it. The word of God tells us to know in Romans 12:2, do not conform to this pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what is God's will, his good, his pleasing, and his perfect will for you. Come on. We got to be in his will. We've got to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. We've got to let go of the limitations. We've got to leave the baggage at the gate. I told him yesterday, for some people, you can't even keep the same luggage you had in 2020. Just throw it all out and buy new luggage. Because some of that luggage from 2020 has residuals of your past attached to it. And every time you pick it up, it awakens some things down in your subconscious and you start acting crazy and you don't even know what it is. It's a spirit from a residual of old stuff. Throw out that old baggage. Break down the barriers of every limitation that's gotten in front of you. Things that are presenting themselves to you now. Destroy them, demolish them. You've got the power to do it. And let me encourage you that in order to get rid of the limitations, let me suggest that you change your conversation. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Begin to speak life. No longer doubting yourself, no longer downplaying yourself. Change your language. Speak the word of God. Speak what the Spirit of God reveals to you about you, not anyone else's opinion, not even your own opinion. Get over yourself and start seeing yourself as the value and the treasure that God made you to be. Change your mind. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that your mind can guide you. Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Get your mind focused on your purpose. The fact that you're fearfully and wonderfully made in God's image and that he desires to do great things in you. Change your mindset. Let go of those old core beliefs. Let go of that paradigm. It's time to shift. It's time to shift. And sometimes you have to change your circle of influence. Sometimes those people who've been with you forever, those BFFs that are always with you, but never aiding you in promoting yourself and the things that you do, you might have to change your circle. You can still talk to them, but they can't be your confidant. They can't be your muse. because they're not trying to go anywhere, and they will try to pull you back when you make too many steps ahead. Consider. Look within and see what you're connected to. And if it's not helping you get to your next, put them in another circle. Say, you can be my acquaintance, but you can't be my ride or die. Not anymore. Because if it were up to you, I'd be dead. Let's just be honest. A lot of people around us don't want to see us do well. You have the power to change that. And then another thing that you have to do, you have to be willing to grow. Be willing to grow. I tell the people in the DIP experience all the time, I'm grateful that I'm not the smartest one in the room. I know what I know and I'm good at what I do, but I'm not the smartest one in the room. That's why I have coaches. That's why I have mentors. That's why I have other people that pour into me so I can stay connected and be inspired to do more. And I want to encourage you. Do the same. Be willing to learn and to grow. Allow someone else to be able to speak into your life and you be willing to receive it. And sometimes what they speak will be a word of correction. If they give it to you in love, be willing to accept it because it's going to work for your good. God chastens those that he loves. And if he puts people in place that want to give you direction and the needed insight that you need for your life, and sometimes it stings, if they've been assigned and you've been assigned to them, receive it in love and be willing to go forward without the limitation. Without the limitation. Without the limitation. My sisters and brothers, I am on a journey to empower. I am. I am on the journey to empower as many people as I can in this new year because it is my desire and assignment to aid you in becoming, to discover, to define, and to develop your individual purpose according to God's plan. So I need you. If these things have been limitations, if you've suffered from identity crisis, comparing yourself to others, not knowing your self-worth, even self-sabotaging yourself and passing off self-judgment, today, let's knock down the limitations. Let's demolish that brick wall. If you've been dealing with fear, let's demolish. Come on, I told you earlier, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Let us operate in the mind of Christ with a sound mind to present ourselves ready to move forward on this journey of becoming. And let's not be so worried about being rejected by man. They don't have a heaven or a hell to take you to. Come on. Don't worry about the rejection of man, the opinion of man. As long as you're doing what it is that God has called you to do, as long as you are doing what's right in his sight, that's all you have to be concerned about. Don't do anything that's going to offend God, and don't worry about what people are going to say, because they're going to have something to say if you do good, and they're going to have something to say if you do bad. They always going to have something to say. But don't worry about rejection. Don't get yourself in that place where you start limiting yourself because of what somebody said. How you do that? Oh, yeah. Well, we can't mess with her no more because she doing it this way and she doing it that. Let that stuff go. Let that stuff go. Because it's time for us to move forward in purpose. It's time for us to let go of the fixed mindsets. It's time for us to leave the baggage behind. And it's time for us to now get a clear vision of what it is that God has for our lives. If you don't have the book, this book, Let's Dip, Discovering, Defining, and Developing Your Individual Purpose. If you don't have this book, get this tool. I'm not promoting me. I'm promoting the work that the Spirit of God gave me. I'm not promoting me. I'm promoting this tool that the Spirit of God gave me to aid us in becoming. You can go to my website and get the book. And it's only $15, which includes shipping. You can get the book. And if you get the book and you say, oh, wait a minute, Val, this is good stuff. I might need some more. I might need some more help. Then maybe you want the DIP experience. We've got a new class starting Tuesday at 7 p.m. And it's on having a clear vision. You need a clear vision to move forward, to get what it is that God intends. To walk in purpose, you must have a clear vision. If you want to be a part of that class, you can register on the website. The course is $99. Only $99 for 4 weeks, where you're going to get instruction, impartation. Sometimes we can't let go, and the Lord begins to prophesy and give insight that we've not heard before. It's an engaging time, it's an exciting time, it's an empowering time. And again, it's only $99 for 4 weeks of being empowered to get you to your next place in God. Again, y'all, I'm not promoting me. I'm not. What I'm doing is my assigned thing, which is aiding you in becoming. If you're ready, if you want to work on your vision to make sure that it's clear, concise, precise, and aligns with the strategy that God has given you according to his intent for you being on the earth, then I'd love to see you. I'd love to help you in that process. Again, I am your empowerment igniter. I am your purpose pusher. I have been assigned. My purpose here is to aid those who are ready to move forward in purpose to get to that next place. I hope today's conversation has been great for you. It has been for me. I want to encourage you. Take the time if you're not sure. Allow the Holy Spirit to reveal to you those things that have been limiting you from moving forward in purpose. Identify them and then take a sledgehammer and knock them down. Knock every limitation down and then move forward in purpose. Make sure you got clear vision, because you're going to need to see clearly as you move forward. I say love and blessings to each one of you. I love you. Thank you for spending time with me this afternoon. I'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. Join me if you can. Be empowered.